Okay, hello, happy day.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
Nice. Okay, so I would love for you to tell us about yourself, please, today, so everybody knows who you are.
Yes, I am Lillian Ketumber, CEO and co-founder of Zuri Styles, and I'm excited that you're featuring us today, showcasing our business and our project. So, yes, I am a mom, I'm a wife, I have a full-time job, and I'm also doing Zuri Styles. So about me, my background is I'm a pure scientist, and that is a story you're gonna love to hear. I never did any sort of art or any sort of being a designer. I never saw myself in that direction. But once I was called to do Zuri Styles, all that just fell into place. So I live in Dripping Springs. I know I should have started with born and raised in Uganda, and I moved to the US a couple of years ago. And I live in Dripping Springs. That's where I'm raising my family. And I'm a mom, wife, and I have a full-time job.
Oh my goodness. Very, very full life, right? That sounds fabulous.
Okay.
Well, so I love hearing stories, and it sounds like there's a fantastic story here. So we'd love to hear about your business. So can you kind of walk us through, because it sounds like you have some other training in something different, and this is another path that you have taken. So can you walk us through that?
Yes. And I think I have two dates of when Zuri Styles started practically and then when it officially started. So I'll first start when it like unofficially or practically started without me like knowing. So like I said, I'm a scientist. So I had my job in Uganda, and one time that was way back, maybe I would say like maybe 10 or 12 years ago. I was at my job, busy working, doing my science and analyzing stuff. And then this lady walks into my office and she's like, "Hey, mom, can you help me sell my stuff?" I looked at her. I'm like, "Why are you asking me to sell your stuff? And you even don't know me." She's like, "Mom, I'm so desperate. I have two kids. I don't have anything for them right now. Their dad just let me alone, and we don't even have where to stay. We don't have food. So by the time I walk into your office and ask you to help me sell my stuff when I even don't know you, that speaks volumes. I'm desperate." So I looked at her for a minute, kept quiet, and I'm like, "Okay, bring your things." She put her things on my table. She had this beautiful jewelry, beads, and I looked at them and I'm like, I am not a salesperson, but I'm gonna do my best to support her. So I sold her beads to my coworkers, my church family, and everyone that I knew in my community. And they bought the beads, and I gave her back every single penny. We didn't know each other. We didn't have any relationship. That was the beginning of our relationship. So when I sold, I gave her the money. She brought more like that, and I became like somehow like a salesperson, which I'd never seen myself do. So, yes, time came when I had to leave Uganda. But I would say by the time I left Uganda, with the money and everything I sold, she had managed to secure a lot for her family, and she was in the process of building. So I remember she cried so much, and she's like, "Please, do you want to take my stuff with you to the US?" And I was like, "No, I can't. I'm going to pursue my career. I'm new. I don't know anyone." And that was it then. So I moved here. I remember she was even like chasing me or pursuing me to the airport, but I said, "No, I can't take your things. Let me first go." So when I moved in here, of course, I was ready to pursue my career, learn the culture, and do a lot of things. So yeah, and life happens. I mean, I would say this was meant to be. And then yeah, I kept on like doing a lot of things, and she kept on poking me, looking out for me, asking me. I'm like, "No, no, 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 I'm not gonna do that." But one thing that really happened is that one time I had a friend who came from Rwanda. Rwanda is a neighboring country to Uganda. She came with a lot of beautiful stuff. Again, crafts. I'll show you the crafts later in the video. And in one of the crafts, I think she had a beaded bag that looked like this. That time it
Ooh.
was brown, yes. So I looked at the bag and I really liked it, and then I bought it. And then when she was leaving, going back to Rwanda, she still had a lot of stuff. And she was like, "Can you please keep this stuff with you and sell it for me?" I looked at her like, "Do I look like a sales lady?" And then she's like, "No, but you can have me." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to sell your stuff, but I can keep it for you until when you return to the US." She's like, "Okay, keep it." So one day I was walking around in my neighborhood with my beautiful purse, and then one of my neighbors was like, "Hey, I like your purse. It looks so unique. Where did you get it from?" I'm like, "Yes, a friend of mine, supports a group of women in Rwanda, and she brought this to sell here. So I bought one." She's like, "I would like one." I'm like, "Oh, by the way, she left her stuff with me. You can come to my house and check it out and then pick out whatever you want." So the lady came, picked out the stuff. She's like, "This is so beautiful. Put it out there." I asked her the same question. "Do I look like a sales lady?" Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm like. "Do I look like a sales lady?" And I kept on saying, "I did pure science. I don't look like a sales lady." So now, on the other hand, this lady kept on poking me. She's like, "My kids are back in that place. We're struggling." I'm like, "I'm so sorry you're struggling, but I'm not ready to be selling stuff right now. I'll see how I can help you, maybe by just sending you money, but I don't think I want to do that." So then, boom, at the same time, like I used to go to fundraisers in Austin to support different missions. So this one day I go to a fundraiser and it was about human trafficking. And all they talked about was Uganda. I remember I cried so much. I cried so much. And the lady next to me was like, "Why are you crying?" And I'm like, "You don't know me, but I'm born and raised in Uganda. And I think in very many ways, this is for me today. I have to make a huge decision, either to go forward and support the people in Uganda because it's been knocking on my door, but I'm like, no, I can't do it. But I think now is the time." So when I came back at my house, I got some quiet time to pray about it and think about it, and I felt that's the direction I had to take. So now this lady reached back again, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm traveling, I'm coming to Uganda. We're going to have like a discussion and see what we're going to do from there." So at that same time, I was part of a group. It's called like Moms in Prayer. We used to pray together, and I told them about what was on my mind and everything. And they're like, "Oh, maybe you can do this." And I was like, "Let's see how it goes." So when I go to Uganda, I just find like there was, like this lady had made a lot of jewelry, a lot of beadwork, and just invited a lot of people. And she's like, "Yes, now that you're here, please take my stuff with you." A whole bag. And I'm like, "You know what? I thought we're just going to talk and plan." She's like, "No, please take my stuff with you." And she was really persistent in asking me to carry her stuff. So I carried her stuff back. And I even didn't know where to start from. That was 2016. And then since I had been talking to different people, like asking them for ideas, then one of the ladies reached out to me and told me, "Hey, are you still on that idea of supporting the women in Uganda?" I'm like, "Yes, I just returned from Uganda and I have a lot of stuff." She's like, "Okay, I am going to invite you to a market where you're going to sell that stuff." So I was like, wow, things are just falling into place. So I went to that market, I saw that stuff, and officially, now that was the beginning of Zuri Styles. We registered the company and our mission and vision. And yeah, that's where we are. It's been
Mhm.
now a couple of years, coming to 5 years in June, doing Zuri Styles.
Nice. So what is your mission?
Yes. Basically, when our mission started out, we had this passion of helping and supporting people who are grieving, people who are impoverished, people who are challenged in different ways. So we were looking out for those kind of people, like that single mom I started with. And along the way, yes, it has evolved in very many ways, but we're still under the same umbrella, where now we added in the human trafficking thing. Like, we know human trafficking preys on poverty in very many ways. Like, that is its foundation, because for sure why these people are trafficked is because they're trying to make ends meet. They're trying to provide for their families. They need the money. So if you provide them with sustainable employment, they will not be trafficked. So our mission is to stop human trafficking by providing dignified employment to those in need or the most vulnerable people. So and how we do this, like I would say, is like we create opportunities for them. Like, they make a lot of crafts I don't know if now is the time or that time will come and I'll show you a couple things. And then those items are sold in the US market. But above all else, our items are handmade and they're made out of natural and recycled items, if I may say. So, and we are working with those women in need. And of course, if anyone needs those details, they can go to our website or go to our Facebook or Instagram page and you see the videos of the kind of women we're working with. But like you may know, our slogan is Zuri Styles, restoring hope and transforming lives. That is what we really stand on. You know, restoring hope to those that have lost it and then transforming lives. So that is what we hinge on. And our vision is one day to see a free world where people earn without being exploited.
That one, that is, that gets me to, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That's exactly how it should be. So I love that. Well, yes, now is the time. Show us the goods.
So, yes, before I even show you the products, I would love to let you know that we work with different like groups and they all live like in different parts of Uganda, but we started with that one woman. So when we knew this is what we were supposed to do, we started reaching out. Like the first item we were supposed to create in my brain was this beautiful purse. I'll show it all to you. It's leather. It's engraved with words of encouragement. So this, yes. So it's very beautiful. It's genuine leather, like you can read and see. Then it has leather on the bottom, and it has like it's a clutch. It has like pockets on the inside, like you know. Yes, it's beautiful. So I did not know how to sew. Like I said, I'm a scientist. I don't have any other, you know, like skill in arts and crafts or designing, but I knew I had to do this. So that time in 2016, like I said, my life, Zuri Styles had already like started way before because I loved supporting people. Like if you walked back into my neighborhood where I lived in Uganda, like I would just walk into people's houses and support them, take them food, ask why their kids were not in school and pay their tuition. And like I would just do those things on my own, but I did not like somehow wanted to do it officially, you know, like, but I would do all those things. If you walked up back in my neighborhood or different like places where I went, they will all tell you, oh, she used to give us food. Oh, one time I was stuck and then my, you know, she gave me tuition for my child, like such acts of kindness. But I know that I want to talk about me, but that is something I had done. So now in 2016, to take you back, when I was in Uganda, I wanted to make some African dresses for my girls. So I usually support, like, you know, I go to villages and support those women, not to the big towns. So I went to this village and found a woman that had a, you know, sewing shop. I talked to her and she seemed like, you know, very enthusiastic and ready to do that. So I thought, okay, make some dresses for my baby girls. She did, and she did it so well. So we had a conversation. She told me what her life was, and I paid her. I think I even tipped her, and then I came back home. So here in the US. So when this came up, I remembered her and the kind of setting she was in. I was like, she would be a good fit. So I tried to look around for her number, and when I got her number, and we talked about it, and you know, her phone number, and she was like, I have never made passes before. And I'm like, me too, but we can do it. I'm like, since you know how to tailor and sew those beautiful clothing, I know it wouldn't be any different. So she took on the job and through mentorship, and then she started making the pass, which was great. And then she brought other people on board, single moms, school dropouts. Yes, and her story is very intriguing because she's also one of those girls that I think I would say it's an equivalent of 8th grade. She only went to school up to 8th grade. But now she's building an empire in her village through Zuri Styles. She has managed to employ other people, other women, other single women, school dropouts, pregnant girls, and she's changing their lives. And I was like, okay, we're going to need to put that story out there. It's going to encourage someone. So that is now a different group of people. Now we have this beautiful pass, or I would say, let me show another one. This is handmade out of beads, like, you know, they create their own designs. They all come like in different colors, like different. and it's one of a kind. So this is another group of women in another part of Uganda that just make these, like they sit down and they do, like, you know, they need bead by bead, bead by bead, bead by bead, up to when they make this beautiful pass. So mostly these are single mom and women in slums, impoverished, and trying to make ends meet. So that is really intriguing. And then we have a little girl we have worked with. When you go on our website, she's called Anna. So we met Anna when she had dropped out of school. And that time again, I think that is around the average time when most girls drop out of school, because we have what we call P7, which is an equivalent of like seventh grade here. At that time, you're transitioning into high school. So most kids just stop at that level. So she was at that place, although also like she was dropping out of school because they could not afford tuition. She was in a very bad place. So we took her on, and then we started working with her. She started creating different items like these beautiful bracelets. Actually, I have some on. They're made with recycled paper. So she would make these, they're all colorful, and then, you know, would get them, sell them on here. And then she was back in school before I knew it. She was now, as I speak, recently during COVID, she came up with a very interesting product. She's very creative. Her dream is to become a lawyer and a fashion designer. She makes these gorgeous earrings, guys. These are really gorgeous. They're handmade. So, and then she is very creative. They also come in a variety of colors, like you may see, and she creates all these. So this is how she's been able to go through school. So without Zuri Styles, this girl would be, you know, one of those other girls that are maybe by now having, many kids. And so I even don't want to talk about her story so much, but anyway, this is how she's been able to go through school. And right now, as we speak, she has 2 years left to complete high school, which is very
She's
intriguing.
going to do
Yes,
it.
yes. And we have her story, like when you shop from us, we'll like include the story of every person that you're supporting and who is benefiting. We usually have that on our website. Also, when you go on our website and just click on any of our earrings, you will see a link to the YouTube page that brings up her story. She's telling her story about how she has gotten this far. So now that I can tell very many stories. Now we have another girl who makes these. These are made out of hand-woven fabric and wax canvas. So when we met this girl, for her story is different. She had gone to school but failed to find employment. There's a very high unemployment rate, in Uganda. It's very high. So she was on her journey, like to be trafficked. They were telling her, we're going to take you to South Africa. We're going to get you a job, because that is the story they usually tell them. Hey, we're going to get you out of here. Find a job in another country. For her, it was South Africa. Pay for your air travel. Make sure everything is cool. You're going to make money. So when we met her, she was at that point of processing her documents and ready to go. And then I remember they connected me to her, and I'm like, no, you cannot go. You cannot go. That is a lie. That is a complete lie. But she was so excited. She's like, I am so down. I went to school. I can't find a job and I need to make ends meet. Then we told her about our project, and she was like, but I mean, what am I going to do for you? We're like, you're going to use the very skills you have to create items that we're going to sell. So she first of all said no, because that South Africa opportunity looked like great. But I think after thinking for a while, she walked into our doors and she said, I'm ready. So she creates these beautiful products, like, and they come also like in the clutch and also like in the crossbody bag. All this is handmade, and it's also, so that is her story.
And I
So
love that
like,
they match too.
yes, so you can have them all together. Yes, the clutch,
Mhm.
and then that is her story. So like everyone that walks into our door has a story. Like recently we had a girl we had been pursuing for a long time. Like it's kind of like a community project. That's what you should know. Like when there's anything good in Uganda, people will share and bring others on board. So her friends had talked to her about joining us, and then she was kind of like thinking about it, but she has found a home and a community in Zuri Styles. So it's also a place where they just sit and talk about their issues and encourage each other. And recently I heard, I'm yet to like confirm officially, they started a circle group. What do I mean by a circle group? They are trying to get themselves out of poverty. And so what they do every month, like each of the ladies will bring like maybe I would say $50. For example, I'll give an
Uh,
example. It's not, I don't know, I'm not sure about the amount, like $50, and they put that money together. So if it's like 10 women, that would be $500. And they say, okay, we have collected $500. This month, let's give the $500 to Lillian. And then Lillian will improve her life. And then next month they collect and they give to another lady just
uh,
to get themselves out of poverty. And so far that is going so well. I'm impressed. I'm really, really impressed. Like they're doing a lot of things. I will have to share about one more. So recently we got a male artisan. We had never worked with a male. This is a guy we also met. He's very talented and he's trying to get himself out of poverty to be able to provide for his family. So he creates these beauties. You can see they're very
oh,
intricate.
very, yeah, intricate. That's the word I was thinking of too. Intricate. Yeah.
He does a good job and they come in a variety of colors. So he is also like working to make ends meet. So we have a variety of products. I mean, if you're looking for, you know, giving gifts that give back or, supporting a great mission, you're welcome to look at our website and make your selection. And yeah, you will really see the impact. Like there's very many stories we can talk about of these women, and most of those are on our YouTube page or on our Facebook or Instagram. Yes.
Oh my goodness. So I can definitely see what has motivated you through this process.
Mhm.
Like 100%. Wow. Like
Mhm.
the stories and
Mhm.
the impact. It's
Yeah.
it's it's very incredible what you're doing. Incredible is the best word I can come up with.
Thank you,
It's very
Chelsea.
caring and just wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that. So I know that there's also I have a mission as something in my business where I am sending out a questionnaire.
Mhm.
But part of the goal of the questionnaire is really to see some of the patterns and the impacts that are generalized as a whole for everybody. We may be in specific places, but hearing these stories and traditions and impacts of where different people are from and how they live now and how we can interconnect and help others just really gets me super, super excited. So I also, as a mom and somebody who enjoys having those stories for others too, like would love to hear, are there any stories from Uganda, from growing up, or traditions that you really have felt a big impact for, or that maybe some of the people that you've met, like Americans or in general,
Mhm.
people who could go, oh, that's a really neat story, I've never heard of that, or thank you for sharing that. Is there anything that you could think of that's like that?
Yes, I mean, in Uganda, basically, to share about the tradition, the girl child is always left behind because as parents raise kids, they believe that, oh, one day that girl will get married, so I don't want to invest in them that much because they're going to get married and go to that family, so I won't benefit in any way. So that is where all this comes from. That's why you see women in Uganda struggle a lot. Like I'm very privileged to be like having a mom who stood and said, I have to take my girl child to school and gave me a decent education. But otherwise, if parents were like stranded and needed money and they have two kids and they're like, we have only one choice, who do we take to school? They would take the boy to school and drop the girl. So that is what people maybe should get to know about why we're working with girls. A very clear example is that seamstress I talked about. She cried so much when they told her she was not going beyond 8th grade. The other girl you can see is this beautiful Anna. She was also stopping at that place because it's like a tradition, like girls, you in the back, you're not supposed to say anything. And that is now changing with Zuri Styles. We are focusing on the woman as a whole. We're empowering them, coaching them, and mentoring them. And we are standing as examples, yes, showing them that look at me, I am a girl. I was born and raised in Uganda, and it's all different. You can be that person. Just get up, arise. So, and now it's all changing. Now, what is happening? Most men are not taking on their responsibility. I mean, of taking care of their families. So the responsibility is on the shoulder of the woman. So it is the woman to make sure, oh, my daughter has to go to school. I mean, you are saying you're going to pay tuition for the boys, but I don't want my daughter to turn out like how I turned out. That's what most women would say. So now that looks like, or you're walking away from the other traditions. Well, so there's a lot of like education that comes with that. We speak to them, we tell them, please don't neglect your girl child. I mean, you can still walk them through this process, and they, like how the world says it, how it's, I think there's a saying that says educate a girl and then you'll educate a nation or something like that. Because truthfully, being a mom, you cannot have a lot of money and then let your kids suffer. I'm not saying men do, but no mother practically would do that. So they would definitely take on their girls and make sure they are well. So this is what we're seeing, the impact. And like telling you the story of that lady I started with, right now she has a beautiful home from a car garage, a dusty car garage, where her kids were, falling sick all the time, getting sick in and out of hospital. Now she has a decent home for her kids. A year ago, another woman joined us. She was in that place, but right now she's also built a home and she's taking her kids to school. There's very many examples, or there are very many examples we can talk to you about how this project is really restoring hope and transforming lives in Uganda. Yes.
Um,
Yes, and if you want to know about culture traditions, it's all like about men and women. Like women are always like, oh no, you're supposed to be low down, you're supposed to like be trampled on basically. But that is changing, yes.
well, good. It should be changing.
Mhm. Yes, thank you.
Oh, well, I love that. So I know that that you've kind of talked about it a little bit, but how can they connect to find your accessories? What's your website? What's your social info? Like how
Mhm.
can they get to you?
Yes. Yes, we have a website. Our website is right on here. It's www.zuristyles.com. If you go
Perfect.
there, you will, see, you can shop with us. You see our mission. You will see the Girl Child Education page on there. So, and you're able to shop from us and support us. We're also on Facebook as Zuri Styles Shopee. I will be like sending that over to you to include like maybe in your notes. And then we're also on Instagram as Zuri Styles Shop Ethical Fashion. Yeah, basically we are ethical fashion. That means everything is made with, the artisan in mind, and whatever is going on is morally good, and also saving our environment, like you saw most of our things. And also the other unique thing about us, it's very easy to say we're creating sustainable employment and we're not letting these women to use what's readily available. So we get them to use the materials that are readily available, like recycled paper, like thread, you know what I mean? Like the beautiful African fabrics, like things they can easily access, like the beads, like you saw the beaded, jewelry. So
Mhm.
things, and we also let them like, in Uganda, it's all about when I woke up today, I was feeling bright and nice. And when they wake up feeling bright and nice, they will create for you something like this. And then there are days like we let them express their feelings through their products. And there are days when they're like, no, today maybe wasn't one of those days. And they'll also come up with a different color. So that is the uniqueness of our project. We mentor them on quality and all the other things, but we also let them be part of the project. Like, how do you feel? What fabric would you like to put out there? What design? So that is why most of our items are like one of a kind. Like she will create it and she will maybe even like don't even remember the design, especially these beaded bags. She will come up with a design and create it, and then you will never see it again. And then most people will be like, where is that, that design? So our products are unique, handmade or ethically made, and just beautiful. It's something you'll be proud of to carry, knowing that you're impacting lives out there and you're changing the world around you.
Yeah, very collaborative. And that's I have not heard as much of the collaboration of that before, but I also don't know a ton about accessories, you know, the whole field, but that is very neat. So it sounds like because it's handmade, it's all one of a kind anyway, but that makes it even more unique because the next day there could be a different design and then that's it. So that's exciting too.
Yes. Yes, and they all come with unique talents for sure, which we really appreciate. Like someone will excel in another item, then the other will excel, like which I really love. Like now recently someone came up with these, which are really beautiful, easy to go, teardrop, and this is recycled paper. So it's amazing. They also have jewelry and yeah, like a lot of necklaces and bracelets, like I showed you, and that is really so cool.
That is so cool. Well, thank you for giving your time today and sharing all the wonderful information about Zuri Styles, and I'm excited for people to check it out. So
Thank you so much too. I appreciate you taking off time to interview us and above all else choosing us, because maybe you had very many other options out there, but you chose us. That is something that we really appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you're doing for our community. That is so huge. Thank you so much.
absolutely. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much.